He's an author and a rock star. He's reached highs that most can only dream of. He's also hit lows you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. And now he's ready to share that journey and that truth with you on Grind Time with Darren Mccarty. Please welcome your host, number 25, Darren Mccarty.
Thank you, Tim. That would mean it is a Wednesday night. Yes, May 15th, clocking in here at 7:42 on your Wednesday evening. How y'all doing? Yes, this is Grind Time with Darren Mccarty. I am Darren Mccarty, four-time Stanley Cup champion with your Detroit Red Wings. Now moving on to podcasts and comedy, obviously advocacy in the weed world, Comic Cons and comic books and graphic novels and all that stuff, which I'm excited to, when I introduce the guest today that we're going to talk about, because we've got a lot of things going on. But first things first, I have to recap and say congratulations to my stepdaughter, Nichelle Leslie Marshall, for graduating from Ferris State. She was the social media coordinator, and you could catch her obviously throughout as I'm learning the social media stuff, clips of her on there. So very proud of her for getting her degree, and now she's wants to get into the sports and stuff. So she's got a broken ankle, which was sort of I got a kick out of it because she got it in Aspen. Skiing or something, so she says, allegedly, but we'll leave it there. But she's getting down here. I want her to cut the intro and stuff, and she can help out with the social media. So her and Chrissy, who's another daughter, they're all my daughters, Perry. Again, as I mentioned, with me as always, can't get rid of him. He's like gum on your shoe. How you doing, Velucci?
Doing really good, Mac.
That's Perry Velucci. Hey, I reached out to your mom, Ellen Schaefer, your stepmom, and you didn't send her flowers on St.
Very sorry about
Mother's
that,
Day.
I know. Ellen,
I told her you were too busy taking a beating in golf.
That was true.
That was true. But it's happy to be here. Are we positive, Perry, today?
Absolutely, every day.
I like it. Anything new? Anything new on the front? You still driving?
Yeah, I had a very interesting run yesterday morning.
Oh, do tell.
I was part of a music video for Big Sean.
Like you
downtown.
were in the video?
I think they're cutting me out. No, he was in the back of the limo, and I had to do a little driving.
Wait, you were driving the limo that Big Sean was in?
Well, I was crawling along in front of the Wayne County building downtown.
Yeah, but it don't matter. You were in the driver's seat.
Oh, I was in the driver's seat. I was the one driving.
Do you know that my guy, Perry Velucci, had Big Sean? If you don't know who Big Sean is, he's a huge rapper. Shout out to him. Love his stuff. He's from Detroit. Perry was so responsible for this, man. I don't care how fast you were going. You were behind the wheel of an automobile with Big Sean at the helm, and wow, nothing happened.
No, and the worst part is, the interesting part is they had like paparazzi or the news media. They had 15 people like surrounding.
Did you have your smile out?
All the time.
All the time, because one thing about Perry Velucci, we all know that no matter what, all the ladies love that smile. You do have a good smile, Perry.
Well, thank you. I've heard that. Fortunately, I've heard that from a lot of women, not just you.
Oh yeah, there it is.
But you know what, Mac? It's all attributed to the positiveness. Just feeling positive, feeling good about yourself. And the other day I was driving, I just sat there, had a big smile because I'm just in a good place.
You just move? Didn't I talk to you the other day when I was trying to get you to come over and help me with yard work, but you said you had to do some on your own, and I was like, how can you do that? You live in your mom's basement. And you were like, no, my buddy Matt West hooked me up.
Yeah.
So you had to do some yard. Did you get all settled in?
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you like where you're at location-wise?
Oh, yeah. It's a nice area, 2.5 acres.
How far from work?
One mile.
Please, that is so
That's
veteran.
perfect.
I like it. No, congratulations.
Mr. Eric Rizzi, Rockstar.
Rockstar's limousine.
Yeah, Mr.
Where's
Rizzi.
the bell?
Yeah.
Eric Reitz, I love you. You get a fucking BMAC.
He had a strong game Saturday. We had that alumni chair, or not an alumni.
Speaking of that, I was watching Marty Sheedy give away, which was 5th annual Project Scissorgate. He gave Jude Stamper, if you don't know the story, Jude from Team Impact, who's the kid in the wheelchair that helped Michigan Wolverines through their Final Four and was their sort of mascot and got to experience
for the basketball team.
Last year. He was a great kid. I'm going to have talking to his parents. Going to have them come in and share a lot of their stories on what it's like, and obviously siblings too. So it was just a great evening I had, and you were out in with Jen Wheeler and JT and all the fam damly. What up,
Jimmy Dale?
That's what up, fam. Jimmy Dale. What up, fam? Over at the Post Bar.
Yeah. They had a charity hockey game.
See, if you look at the history of the Post Bar, of where it started and the shenanigans, and we were all part of, especially Ozzy, and we'll get to that hopefully first 2 weeks from now when him and Maltz join us. Brad, first one. Anyways, but it's sort of like the evolution of life, because if you know the Post Bar started downtown, no windows, the greatest place in the world to grow up in your 20s, and then now, if you look in Plymouth, the Post Bar, it's like a bistro. It's elegant. It's like matured. So, right. Jen and JT was always the most mature out of all of us. So once Jimmy came on board, then we were all good. The ship's righted. So, sorry I couldn't make it, but you had it. It was you, Reitz, Eddie,
Mickey Redmond,
Eddie Mio struggled.
Eddie struggled.
He's 75, man. He had a bad hit.
Tired. Yeah, he was tired. He struggled a bit, but Dave Coulier was out there playing. Just a lot of local guys that all played junior in college and minors and that, and it was a good time, good fundraiser.
Well, the key is, Perry, you weren't reffing, you were playing.
Actually, I was playing.
Yeah. So how'd you do?
You
said you got caught out there with some youngsters, and the speed of the game just sort of went up.
It changed real quick. Yeah. No, I did pretty good. I ended up +1. And when you lose 11-6 and you weren't on for any of the 11 goals, I think that's pretty good.
Patting your stats. I mean, hey,
short
whatever. Wasn't your fault, Perry. Wasn't your fault. You did everything you could. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. Well, when you're older, let me tell you, I found out about short shifts real quick.
Well, there you go. And you think I'm stupid. Bam Bam, good to see you here, buddy. Thank you very much. You can thank him for running the 1s and 2s. It's always a pleasure, especially when he talks earlier in the day. But I got something for you later on because it's a conversation for all you wrestling fans. I'm going to end the show with that. So that's a tease for down the road. But, and again, Big Boogie, how are you?
Doing good.
Got Big Hoss here. Big Hoss, obviously, running the comedy, any comedy fronts. We got Friday, we got show in Sandusky, Michigan at the Legends.
Yep, excited for that.
I'm actually doing radio tomorrow morning, 7:40, with one of the radio stations out there to promote it. So I know it's an 8 o'clock show. I'll send you the info, Boogie.
Thank you.
Let's see. What else we got going on? That comedy show, we got a couple at the end of the month.
Russian 5 movie.
Russian 5, yeah. Next week from Thursday in Chicago. Going to be there with Josh Reel and Jenny LaFlamme, a.k.a. Fedotenko, she just changed her name to her married name because it was easier to say.
Fedorovich. Now that we finally haven't figured out how to say it.
And actually, yourself.
Did you see they're like expanding all over this weekend? Raleigh, Tampa.
Did you see the reviews? If anybody has it, we're talking about the Russian 5, and you know what? I'll continue to toot the horn. I'll continue to go, and it's not just me, because you just have to see it. When the LA Times and the world critics are deeming this, like, you got to see this movie because it's not about hockey, it's about life. And you know, we were talking about it earlier, but this is a great segue. Great segue, Perry, into our guest of the evening tonight, like because yes. What makes this movie, in my opinion, we're talking about the Russian 5, done by Josh Reel, is the Sin City cartoon comic book element of the Cold War and the Russians and the way that they bring it in. And as I say that, who else would I have other than the star from Best Bucket Comics, Mr. Dominic Ruggiero. How are you tonight, buddy?
Good, Mac.
Now we got a lot of things going. You and I have a long relationship, and I want everybody out there at Grind Time to realize, like, this is one of the things where I talk about the self-awareness and how things. It's not infinity circle. It's an infinity circle. It's not a full circle, right? So Dom and I display that because I'll let him explain when we first met. how everything, and then I'll tie it back into how we got going on and what we got and exciting things for the show. So, Dom, take it away.
Yeah, so we were at a bar. I was at with my 2 college roommates at the time.
So, what year?
This was 1998, 99.
Okay, so 20 years ago we're talking. 20 years ago.
Right. And
just so everybody knows how old Dom is. He sounds a lot younger. Looks a lot younger than he is.
So I mean,
Italians.
My 2 college roommates, we're crushing beers. What?
I thought he was going to
Perry,
story that
Perry goes, "You're not Italian." Perry goes like this, like, look what happened to me, and I almost spit coffee all over my computer.
Looking young.
I go, "You're not Italian. You're like Irish or something."
Yeah,
No, but you got like that. Hey,
Bellucci
dude,
was Italian.
look at you. I mean, you're.
But I don't look
good
young.
An older guy.
Yeah, but I don't look
No,
young.
I know.
You said
So that's
Italians
not
look
the
young.
Italian part.
I mean, I wish I looked young like that.
He's got the smile, though.
alone over here.
He's got the
Leave my
smile.
Leave Sly alone. All right? That's they do that.
Mac almost spewed
Bam,
all
bam,
over
and
the place.
Sly. Where's Cody Ross when we need him? Let's get you in there. Dude, I know you guys. Hey, comebacks. Anyways, we'll get to the wrestling part. So thank you for that laugh. Oh my God, what self-perseverance by not spitting out there.
Yeah, that was.
Gosh, damn. Thank you, Boogie. That must be good to my caregiver. Hey, it's all about mindful medication. Remember that. Mindful medication, which is promoted by the Athletes for Care, A4C, and Body Check Wellness. Back to you, Dom.
Yeah, so I was there with my 2 college roommates at the time. We've got like $30 between us at this bar, and we're just like, having a few drinks, and we're having this nerdy conversation, and we're talking about chocobos and Final Fantasy VII, right?
And if anybody doesn't know, back in the 90s, the Final Fantasy VII was the World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Well, it was almost like not the competitiveness of Fortnite and stuff, but the way that you had to build, and it was almost like I don't know, Clash of Clans, or I don't know, something where you had to build your empire, and it kept getting.
It was 3 CDs that we put in there.
It was like the first epic.
Yes.
It was like the first Lord of the Rings for a video game.
There you go. All right.
That's that one?
That's the tagline.
Bam, bam.
That's the tagline.
Bam, bam, give me the thumbs up. So, I mean, I am floating in the Comic-Con world.
So we're talking about it, and you had to breed a gold chocobo, which is a very difficult thing to do. And my roommate was like, "I just did it. You just did it. How'd you do it?" And we're talking, and this dude just walks by our table, and we just, "All right, how do you do it? How do you do it?" And he turns back around, he comes to our table, and he takes the chair, and he turns it around, he like straddles it with like the back of the chair on his chest. He's like, "Are you guys talking about breeding gold chocobos?" And I'm like, yeah, we are. And my roommate tasked me, he's like, "Mac? Is it Mac McCarty?" Then he goes, "Oh yeah, hey, Darren Mccarty. Let's get back to the chocobos."
I love it.
And then I got it. So we told you, and you're like trying to write it on this like napkin, and you're like, "Oh, this isn't working." And then you had this like, "This is my first email address. Can you email it to me?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, we'll email it." And then I have to say this part because this was great. Like I said, we had no money. We're broke college kids. Matt grabs the waitress. He's like, "Their tab's on me." That
worked for them. Hey, good. I haven't changed. That sounds like me totally, and I had money at the time, so that sounds like me. Spread the wealth, but you earned it. That's what and in building this. So Dom and I's relationship started how it comes full circle, but up until. We've run into each other because you, being Mess Bucket Comics, are in the comic book world, into the Comic-Con world, into the graphic novel world, and different people that we know. We know a lot of the same people. Shout out to Marco Polo Italiano and the Raising the Bar Detroit crew. All those McMorrises over there on the east side, hanging out by Lakeside Mall, jamming it out. Love those guys because that's what it's about, facilitating the love and the D. And you and I sat down and you had this idea for this project, and I want to start people out of. So we're involved and I'm entering into. I want people to understand because at Grind Time, there's people I'm going to introduce you to. In the past, you met Damian DeStefano from Over the Moon Clothing. He's going to do some social media and help promote all that and do things. Well, Dom's Dom's my Comic-Con guy, my comic book world, my nerd world. What did you tell me about nerds? You said that we were talking one time about going into the world, because you've done, so you being in the comic book industry, how many Comic-Cons and explain to everybody at home what we mean by a Comic-Con or an Astra Comic-Con, because you and I were at the one hosted by Twisted, which love those cats, Mikey, the boys, they're great people. We'll be there next year. We already committed to that. Yep. But there's other things coming on. So say your role or what it's about being in the business that you are and what they mean.
Yeah. So, comic conventions, they really took off probably, parallel with the success of the movies with Marvel and DC and all that stuff. But there's a big show in almost every state in the country, and it's just spreading out to the whole world. There's shows in Europe and everything. And I've been grinding hard for 5 or 6 years now, 25 plus shows a year, all over the country.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
East, West Coast, New York Comic-Con, down to Florida. We're going to go up into Canada now.
Let's talk about, did you bring your comic? Did you bring
got them all here.
Let's start with you as like you said, traveling around with your what's the name of the title of
The Arcane Awakening. Yeah, this is my first 3 books.
So tell everybody, so they understand how you got into it to even create that. I want people to say, like you said, you've been grinding at this for a while until we're going to get into. We're going to make a call to Brian O'Halloran. People know him from Clerks. We're going to get into Donnybrook in a minute, but I want people out there to understand what it takes from your point of view to get to where you're at, to holding those finalized copies and selling them. So please do it, and if you can do years or age or something else, so people at home could sort of relate to it.
Okay. So I started this whole process in 2011. I wrote a movie script for The Arcane Awakening, and it's sitting on my computer. It doesn't have a life of its own. I wanted to do something with it. And as I was writing it and rewriting it, I was like, you know what, this would make a really good comic book. And so I started to look into it. I'm like, this is something that is relatively inexpensive. I'll probably be able to do this. So I started going to the local shows and meeting people and artists, and became a reality. I had a few businesses back in the day. I had a car wash and a cleaning company, and I got some of my old customers to help fund this thing, and I've already paid them all back as well. So in 2012, I got the money and I put out The Arcane Awakening #1, and it became a trilogy. It's the whole story arc. It's X-Men meets Supernatural kind of feel to the story. Okay. The popular good guy's Mojo. He's a descendant of Jim Morrison, drinks whiskey, and speaks in all doors lyrics.
Nice.
And I'll just tell you about the popular bad guy. I have a big bust of this guy on my table. His name's Ravager, his big red demon. As he consumes people, turns into this demon. He was inspired by my ex-girlfriend. So, a little bit of real life in there.
Wow. We all have one of those ex-girlfriends.
It's a great story, though. But I mean, so the fact that what I heard right there was that you had belief in yourself,
right?
The self-awareness and the hard work. The one thing is why I was talking to everybody beforehand about, as we're building Grind Time with Darren Mccarty, obviously, as a team thing where everybody's got a role and everybody's got what they do. The best thing is that it is, and Boogie made it a point that, it is a priority. And I said, but it's a second priority. Everybody else has other things that they're doing that we're all involved with, but we can use this as something to build together. And being on that way, it's the work ethic. It's the thing that I preach. The only way that, you look into what did I put in to get out? Yeah. Right? Where you can look back and say, because I know for a fact, and the reason that we'll get into later why we've moved on to our individual project, but with that, it's the hard work, people believing in you, right? Because you had to, it wasn't easy. What would you say to somebody aspiring to, that has the ideas like that has a girlfriend like that has an idea, but that is a different monster? Because I've seen, what's his name? Kraken? Or what's his name? What's the monster's name?
Oh, Ravager.
Ravager. So Ravager, I've seen him in real life. He's red. He's awesome. I got pictures next to him. If I was any good at the social media, I'd pull it up right now, but I'm not. But anyways, so what would you say is that, give a couple of tips that you learned along the way?
Of the journey
just about
of Comic-Con?
of the journey, to get.
This is something that you've got to want it. If you don't want it, you're gonna last, a couple weeks. So there's the grind, and like the way you put it, I love it. Embracing the suck.
Embracing the suck.
I'm
Heard
gonna
that.
be in a hotel room with 4 or 5 other creators, sleeping on floors, sharing the free breakfast, and packing into a really small car with all of our stuff in there to save money so that it works, that I can afford the next book. Not taking a paycheck for doing this for years, and still having a full-time job and traveling 8, 9, 10, 12 hours in the car to the East Coast and all over the place. It's tough. It is a tough grind, and just like anything else, I'm like, what? Sometimes I would be like looking up. I'm in the car. It's in the middle of the night. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? Am I doing this for any reason? Like, is this going to go somewhere? And it's at that point that I feel like when I made the decision, I don't care. I'm going to do this because this is fun. And if it doesn't work out, I could still do this for, just for fun.
Enjoy it.
Because I love it. Yeah, I could do
It's
this
hard
my
to
whole
find
life.
a job you enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
So you moved from that, and you said 5-year project to grinding, which obviously at the Comic Cons, what you see is the passion.
Right.
So you know what? Whether we're crossing into, it's Boogie being the caregiver that's helped me along with other people, but to care in the weed industry in the weed industry, but as the care for the plant,
Right.
care for the process. But you really gotta get involved for the right reasons. Now, in saying that, it fast forwards to the other project, that group involvement.
Yes.
Because you had this idea, which you approached to me on, I'm going to touch on because, my whole thing is I've always, after my book, wanted a graphic novel, and I'm letting you guys know that Dom's worked on it, and this is it, work in process. We'll get to it. But before that, it was also, too, what's the win-win? So tell me a little bit about Donnybrook and how it came to be.
So I had this idea to have a comic book about my junior hockey stories, and my buddy Craigie, he gave me some of his stories too. I think he played in the U-Haul or the East Coast or something for
Who's
a couple.
Craig?
Ryan Craig. I played juniors for like a preseason, and then I had to quit and play football, but whatever. So I enjoy the locker room and all that atmosphere. So I had my stories in there, and I put this fictional team and this fictional league in there, and I'm like, as I'm writing this and I'm telling people in the comic community, I'm going to do a hockey comic. They're like, what are you doing? That's not going to work. No one does that because it doesn't work. So I started to hear this. And I'm like, maybe this isn't going to work. I don't know. You know what? In the end, I'm like, I'm going to have a good time with this. This is great. I think it's going to work. And my artist believed in it too. And we came out and people just loved it. It's an updated version of the movie Slapshot, basically. And it's just, all the greasy gong shows you go through playing juniors and everything like that.
So you introduced a team called
The Michigan Massacre.
Because you're the owner of that, and you're like commissioner of the league, right?
No, I'm not commissioner.
You're not commissioner of the league, but you're like behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, I'm writing the story.
Because I'm an owner of a team,
right?
And on the line, which is an honor to have because I'm a big fan, is Mr. Brian O'Halloran.
Yes.
Brian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
How you doing, bud?
Doing good. It sounds like I'm on a string with a can. What do you got? What are you doing this via carrier pigeon?
You know what? That's Bam Bam. You're gonna have to ask him because he might be. He might be. Who knows what he's on? But so how did you? So I named a team. So Dom came to me with the idea after the first, and I loved it. Not only adding some stories, but also too. That was cool. But also too. I added a team, Burnaby Blazers, minor pot smoking lumberjacks from British Columbia, Canada. You have a team too, right?
Yeah, he asked me to come up with a New York-based team for the Donnybrook series. So being a New Yorker myself, I was like, well, it's got to be kind of New York-based. But I thought I'd throw it out to my fan base to come out with a name. And, we had a contest for a couple of days there. And it was a really great fan, came up with a great name. I mean, there was a lot of people throwing out a lot of the Clerks kind of funny kind of play on words kind of names. But this one fan came out with the really great one, the Hell's Kitchen Heathens. And I thought, man, that sounds really badass. And so
I like it.
And Dominic was like, hey, man, what do you think? What would pop up? I gave him a list of my top 5 choices. And he's like, yeah, man, I like that Hell's Kitchen Heathens as well. So I said, look, man, I like the name. It's really balls to the wall, and I like as long as we have Broadway blue kind of colors, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm showing all the people that are watching on Facebook Live, or I don't know how this shit works. So YouTube or whatever like that. I'm a rookie to this game, but I love it, dude. It's obviously New York. What's your tie? Let everybody your tie. Obviously, if people don't know, I mean, I'm of age to know that of your role back in Clerks and of knowing of the hockey game. That has been played in Jay and Silent Bob and just your role with that. But does hockey go back to a young age, or you've always been a New York Ranger fan?
Yeah, so my whole family is from Ireland. My two older brothers, my parents, they all emigrated over here in 1965 to New York. And then I was born in '69 in New York. And the sport that my father's favorite sport was in Ireland was a game called hurling, which is kind of like field hockey. But there's no helmet. Back then, there was no helmets. There's no padding and whatnot. It's played on the size of like a soccer field, but you can get that the goals are as big as a soccer goal, but you could also get points from shooting it over the goal, but in between the two uprights. And so when he came here to America, the closest game that was being played here in America that got him to have the same excitement that he had from his love of his home sport in Ireland, hurling, was hockey. And so being that we lived in New York City, the teams that you had to choose between there was, well, we lived in the Bronx, so the Rangers that played in Manhattan was the best team for us. And then, of course, there was the Islanders. And then we used to watch the games on regular TV. And then when cable was coming around, or as they called it, closed-circuit television back then, we would go to bars on certain games that weren't being televised over regular broadcast, and you'd pay a fee to go watch these games, which pretty much was the beginnings of cable TV and sports. And so the New York Rangers were our home team for us, and we did that for forever. Because a lot of fans were like, "Yeah, but you're from Jersey, right?" Actually, I lived in New York City until the age of 10. So the Devils were the Kansas City Scouts before they were even the New Jersey Devils. So I was already a Ranger fan by then. So I never left my team, so to speak.
Yeah, that's tough. So hurling, which I would have loved to play, is a cross between hockey, rugby, played on a soccer field. Pretty much. But the one thing too is that you said, so you're born in '69. Your allegiance is to the Rangers. How tough was it? Because I call it the golden ages of when you're a kid between 11 and 15. You had to watch the Islanders win all those cups, bro. Was it tough?
It was. My one older brother, he was becoming an Islander fan. He was always an Islander fan. So in the 80s, when the dynasty that they got to 3 in a row there, you had Brian Bossy, and you had so many great players on that. You got Goring and all those great guys. You couldn't help them. I mean, they were a machine. Al Arbor was an incredible coach. So you couldn't help but give those guys the credit that they were due. And then, as their dynasty was starting to wane, here comes another Wayne Gretzky, bringing another dynasty. And it was between him and Coffey and Messier that then brought them their cups. So it was weird that they would come in batches. I mean, God, you were part of a small dynasty yourself with the Wings. So
I was. Oh, shit, dude. Dude, you know that I'm the owner of the Burnaby Blazers, bro. We smoke a lot of pot. Oh yeah, we can swear.
Okay, all right.
Dude.
I
sorry, man. Dom's over. I can't see, right, Brian? I have this trouble. I'm born in '72, so we're tweeners, bro. Between the internet, we got beat once, and then that was good. We learned our lesson,
Right.
We can deal with the internet or not. So Dom wanted to know if we can swear, and I was like, "Are we here?" If I wouldn't take the microphone. So he's worrying about swearing.
Well, I just had so Brian.
Did you have a swear word you wanted to introduce?
No. Brian, before the show, some of the I have all the jerseys from the Donnybrook League here.
Throw them over. Let me saute them.
All these jerseys have 19 on there because of 2019, but Brian O'Halloran's jersey, the Hell's Kitchen Heathens, has number 37, and they were wondering why number 37.
Oh, good story. Good segue, Dom. But where's the swearing?
No, I'll let Brian explain it.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, well, 37, it's a reference that goes back to the original Clerks. There's a discussion between the character that I played, Dante, and his girlfriend, Veronica, in which some guy comes into the store, the convenience store that the character works, and the guy's like, talking to the girlfriend and then leaves. And I was like, who is that? And she said, oh, that's a guy we called Snowball. And I'm like, what's snowballing? And she explains what snowballing is, which is a kind of a weird kind of sexual act. And then we get into the discussion. So then we get into the discussion of, well, how many partners have you had, sexually? And so it turns out that, she's been around the block, and it turns out that I'm number 37 in her sexual history of exploits.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, dude.
Yeah.
You like the experienced ones too. That's good. In the movie, that was awesome.
I don't even want to sell that jersey to people if they don't know that reference, Brian.
But they will learn that reference because it's just to do. So let me ask you this on the comic book front. So creating it and turning it over, obviously, I love the fact that you've made it, a part of the O'Halloran experience, so to speak. What kind of owner are you in the in your comic book league? Because obviously, movies is one thing, real life's another thing. Do you have what kind of team you have? Are you going to be like the Rangers? Are you not going to make the playoffs? Or are you gonna...
Well, you know what?
That was for Bam Bam. He's a dick. All right.
Being just that we're coming into the league, and once readers start seeing what's going on, they'll find out what kind of an owner I am. I just got, when you're dealing with a team named the Hell's Kitchen Heathens, you're going to be a little bit of rough and tumble. We're not the brawny salesmen here with the brawny looking, towel boys that you guys have over there. So we got a good group here.
Dude, what's gonna? Yeah, I get it. What's gonna? I see Al Pacino and a Devil's Advocate right there. That's you as the owner. You got that friggin' devil, dude. But don't worry, my guys will get you high. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure.
Hey, dude, that's a home. I told Dom, home ice advantage for the Burnaby Blazers is because you go in there for the first time and you don't realize you're stoned because everybody in the crowd fucking blazed. No, that's good. So what else you have? What do you got going on now? As far as projects or cheering for teams?
I gotta. I'm actually going to be over in London. I leave for London next Wednesday. I'll be over in London for the weekend of the 24th to the 26th for London Comic Con, the MCM Comic Con in London, and then I'm going to stay for another extra week and a half for visit family and stuff, and then. The new Jay and Silent Bob movie, which we just got done filming in New Orleans about a month and a half ago, that'll be coming out, I've been told, sometime during the fall. So that's the next kind of Kevin Smith kind of film that you'll be seeing me and a couple of characters, actually, in that. And then I have a couple of films that are making the film festival circuit right now, one called Right Before Your Eyes, about this guy battling alcoholism. And then I have a few others that are being lined up. And Jason Mewes has directed his first film called Madness and the Method, and I've been told that that's probably going to come out this summer around the July.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. I see, you're naming it. I'm seeing them that they're listed on IMDb and that. But let me ask you first, have you done European Comic-Cons before?
I did one other Comic-Con in an island that's south of England called the Isle of Wight, and so we went to the Isle of Wight last year for that, and then I'm looking to maybe do one in Dublin hopefully soon. So, but it'll be my second one in Europe.
I just wonder expectations as different because cultures are different over there than here, and I'm talking to my listeners with Dom because we got a Comic-Con coming up this weekend and just different things that we got going on. But is there, do you notice a difference in the way that people are, they're held, or?
You know what it is? The fans over there, they, the fans of Kevin Smith over there are very loyal. As a matter of fact, Kevin is over there right now. He just did he's doing a 5-city tour of his comedy with Ralph Garman. So he went to Edinburgh and had a huge review there, and was in Birmingham, England, and a few other, Manchester, and then London himself. So I'm glad that the comedy pretty much translates very well over there. The fans have been really cool. It does well in Germany. I've seen posters up in even Russia when we did Clerks 2. So I think the fans get it. That foul-mouthy kind of male kind of humor does translate very well in Europe.
We're talking to Brian O'Halloran. Obviously, I remember him as Clerks. I got to do my homework because he's the owner of the Hell's Kitchen Brethren. Heathens. Brethren. Why do I? Because I can't read. That's why. It looks like Brethren's. It really. He's already messing me up. What was it that obviously everybody with the Jay and Silent Bob and excited about all the stuff that you do with those guys? Because to me, there's families. You got the lizard, the broken lizard family, and then you got like you guys in different ways. Like comedy is. What did you enjoy the most about creating Dante or creating whether it was Jay and Silent Bob or Clerks or whatever, that character that resonates to this day?
Well, what's really great is that Kevin is really great at writing these characters, and it was very in the similarities of what I brought to the character was, we both had a love for hockey. We both had a love for Star Wars and, that kind of nerd kind of culture. And we both have issues of fucking, girlfriend issues back in the day. So it's kind of nice that he gets it. He's of an Irish Catholic background. I was from an Irish Catholic background. It was very similar to hang out and get what we needed to get done. So those type of things I enjoy. And Kevin just always gets he's such a great director to work with. He's very laid back. He's very easygoing. There's a lot of joking and a lot of laughter that goes on set. And, the biggest, the hardest thing to do is to try to get through these films without cracking up and breaking the character.
See, I think that's great to hear. That it's like you guys have as much fun and for me anyways, and there's a relation to, I came into, the NHL in 93, 94. So around these movies and to see life, I can relate to all of you. I like you as far as my infatuation for the Wings, not that, but Star Wars and stuff. And then with Jason, with his issues, I'm forthcoming at my alcoholism and stuff like that to be able to get through. But
we can keep making them, that we enjoy making them. And that's the thing, man. It's just like, I got to embrace the blessings that I've been given over my life and not poo-poo people about it. We're like, don't you get sick of it when people say you're not even supposed to be here today? You know what? I embrace it because it's the way it is, or someone screams, hey, try not to suck any dick on the way through the parking lot. That's the world. That just so happens to be the world that I live in.
Hey, but hold on. I'm going to let Positive Perry here wants to have a question. But I got to say, doesn't it resonate to the fact, too, that in today's day and age, in my eyes, as fucked up as society is, to sort of teach it coming back around that if you persevere through, and then it's the lessons right there. We're getting back to, like, fashion comes back around. Like, people want to see something else. And I think that's why Clerks resonates, because it's so real. Because I walk into 5 different liquor stores or convenience stores, and 3 of them got Dante in there, but it might be, different things. And I think that when people in this day and age get off their phones and take a minute to have a conversation, that's what they find. So I commend you. Man. Perry, you got a question?
I agree, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And it is that people. It's a role that still resonates with people because you've either worked a really shitty service job or you've been in a store with really shitty service. So,
That's for sure.
it relates on either side of that one.
It's timeless.
Hey, Brian, I've got a question for you. Have you ever skated or played any hockey, or have you had any other involvement with hockey other than being an owner of a comic book team?
When I was a kid and a young teenager, we used to do street hockey in my neighborhood, and then we did some on an ice rink in Old Bridge, New Jersey. But for the most part, it was street hockey, and I was a goalie for the most part. I had all the equipment. As a matter of fact, I still have equipment back in my mother's house where she's like, "Are you ever getting rid of this stuff?" I'm like, "No."
Hey, Ryan,
Go
ahead.
Who'd you pretend to be? Who were you? Were you Eddie Jackman? Gump Worsley?
Oh, that's funny. You nailed it right on the head, my friend. Eddie Jackman was my favorite player. So.
Look at Perry, positive. You just pumped up positive Perry's tires for another. Exactly. He's getting kudos in here. This smile. Now, you can't see it, but you know, the thing about Perry is that no matter what he does, the ladies love the smile because he's got all teeth, you know, so it works out.
I'm Irish Catholic too.
So what is, let's talk hockey for a little bit. You still paying attention to the NHL playoffs?
Yeah, I actually literally have the game on while I'm talking to you.
Well, I literally have the game on while I'm talking to you, bro, so it's like we're holding hands while we're in here. 0-0.
Two owners are supposed to hate each other. Come on.
We can get there. You know.
That's only on the ice, right?
Yeah. Wait, do you have a front runner? Are you either cheering for somebody or? Because I have, I'll let you know, I got San Jose because after they won that 7th game, I told the boys, I said, they're my fate runner, not my front runner, my fate runner.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely the team with the most heart right now, going through all those games like they did. I'm shocked at the shutdown that the Boston Bruins are putting on the Hurricanes here. I thought that was going to be a game-for-game kind of series. But good on Boston for able to get through it. Although, you know, as much as I love an original 6 team, the city of Boston has had enough with the winning, okay? You've gotten the football.
Is that a bitter New Yorker?
Win.
Is this coming from a bitter New Yorker?
Well, yeah, that's the little New Yorker in me, but still.
Well, we don't understand because, you know what football championships are. Boston does too. We got no freaking clue. I mean, you know, like we could take, you know, some of the hockey. We'll take the hockey stuff over here a little bit, but
we have a football team.
Yeah, I said, you know, we got that going for us, bro.
Yeah, and so when I see these last 4, I wouldn't mind seeing a St. Louis Boston kind of lineup, only because that's like an original kind of 12 kind of lookout. You know, although for so many years San Jose has been so close and has failed and is so close and has failed that it would be like, you know, the underdog kind of heart goes out to to see Burns win it and you know, those guys Thornton and all those guys really put their heart and soul and bodies on the line on this one, that if they were to win it, I would be cool with that too. I mean, all the teams that are in the Final Four have shown some really strong effort at this point. So we'll see.
I like it. That's also too. Have you? There's a movie out there called The Russian Five, which is sort of it's a documentary on how the Russian Five was put together and all our championships. And the thing that I love about it, I've seen it 3 times, is that it's 100% real. And the best part is because if you're aware at all that the accident that happened after we won the Cup in '97 to our star defenseman Vladimir Konstantinov that almost ended his life and put him into a wheelchair and vegetable. Well, at the premiere, I talked to his daughter and I asked her how many times he's seen the movie, and she said, I don't know, he just keeps watching it. It puts him in his happy place, and at the end of the movie, he's singing the song. So something that's created to, you know, maybe give everybody a little bit of a smile and for a bad time after all these years. Have you seen that at all, or have you heard of it?
No, I haven't. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
You will, dude, because I think what's important too is that what I got from it is, man, it wasn't easy. Like you said, it just reminded me when you're talking about San Jose and going through what we did before we won in '94, '95, '96. And then with everything else, and also too is that we loved what you got from it is that no matter who it was, where they were from, what language they spoke, beside you, that person loved that other person next to him. And I think that really shone through the best of times and the worst of times that happened, back to back, and to be able to win, and have Vladdy out there. It's really, as a personal piece, I implore any of your friends or yourself to look for it, because it's starting to get some national attention.
I believe it's starting in Newark this weekend. Over in New Jersey. Brian, what's your thoughts? What's your memories of Mac as a hockey player?
I'm sorry, what was my memories of what?
Of Darren as a hockey player.
Well, as the Red Wings and the Rangers, we're talking the late 90s, mid-90s, and into the early 2000s. The Rangers didn't go far with it. You guys, Detroit was hockey town. Detroit is hockey town even to this day. You guys always came in and kind of kicked our asses pretty steadily.
It was,
but also Darren held his own, man. Darren was a bit of a rough and tumble kind of guy. The hits that he would put on guys were huge. And then, he was a bit of a finesse. He had a really great finesse about him. So, the McCarty, you didn't take him for granted. Between that and Yzerman and all these guys that came in, and you guys had an incredible goaltender behind you in all those years. So there was no taking Detroit for granted ever. The past couple of years, it's been kind of back and forth, whether you thought they were on a big rush and they were going to make the playoffs, but then it's been kind of weird. And then with the coach leaving and going to Toronto, and with the whole shakeup of the whole team in general, you guys are in the same boat as the Rangers are in this rebuilding year, and hoping the farm league and the draft will bring something off and out. And I'm hopeful with that. We lost our coach when we got rid of Vigneault, and so we'll see what happens.
Well, you forgot the fact that in this town, the balance has been restored, because we have Steve Yzerman back as our
right.
GM. So no matter what, it's the proverbial things are going to be all right around here. We don't know what it means, but our ship's in the right hands. I wish you best of luck in New York, and I look forward to thank you for your time. I look forward to working on this and seeing how evil of an owner you are, Brian, but a big fan, and safe travels across the pond.
Well, thank you, and keep up all the good work you're doing with your foundation, and I definitely look more to talking some shit with you about this comic book soon.
Oh, absolutely. As the one thing that I like is Dom's a go-getter, and he's going to be putting these things together. So soon enough, we're going to see how heavy these heathens roar. So look forward to it, Brian.
We're definitely going to get the fan base to do the old. Let's go heathens.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
Let's go heathens.
For sure. That's all about it. All right, bro. Thank you. You bet.
Thanks, Brian.
Appreciate it. That was Brian O'Halloran, the owner of the Hell's Kitchen. What are you trying to?
Hell's Kitchen Heathen.
We got to work on our. Jesus.
Sorry, I didn't know.
No, we got to work on our commute. No.
I didn't know this was a whole thing. It's almost not even.
Hey,
that way he
I
doesn't
almost
lose
spit
it.
all over my computer, so I put it down.
All right.
I got my glasses, which, by the way, you may laugh, but I haven't lost a pair in a month. Thank you, baby.
I haven't had to go find them.
Someone get Stevie a copy of Donnybrook.
No, the picture. See, the Batman signal is 19.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about Steve. You had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Dude, I like that.
Yeah.
You got to send.
I'll send it to you.
Send it. Yeah. Send it to
us.
Perry.
Got it.
No.
All
Brian's
right,
great.
so yeah, Brian's great. Being the owner and obviously doing things with clerks. And if you look at his IMDb and to see how the you know what? I'm gonna have to get like glasses for the show. What a fucking dog.
Oh my God. He's trying to take his glasses
man,
off.
dude,
His
it's
headset falls.
All right. What I wanted to say is what you see is the things that stand the test of time, are real things and real characters. And I think what you said there is that Kevin Smith, who Silent Bob, writes the characters to the times, and these guys care about each other. And when you tell me that guys that you're wondering, because I always, people always ask me, well, what's it like in the dressing room, or what's it like, for winning? And, like I tell everybody, yeah, we really did love each other. I mean, but it was like a band of brothers, and sometimes you'd be pissed at your brothers, and sometimes you'd be mean to your brothers and shit like that. But it didn't matter. But it stands the test of time. If they can't get through doing a movie and then start laughing because they enjoy their company, that's what I preach. And the self-awareness, I think, that he has over everything, and the fact that they're back, it's a whole new generation that gets to enjoy not only the past but the present like we do. So,
well, you know what? I think it's a good time to give you the gift I got for you. You're the first person to get a Donnybrook poster signed by all the owners.
Oh, shit, yeah. We're going to have to frame it, yeah.
Brian O'Halloran, Darren McCarty, Dom Riggio, and Brandon Inge.
Dom's been working on his Zetterberg signature since he was a fucking kid. Look at that.
That's really
nice.
Cool.
We're going to have to...
get that framed.
I'm going to have to get that framed.
That's great.
That is a great one.
I actually might have one that'll fit it.
Yes.
I think the biggest thing is, Dom, like you said, when you were going to come out with a hockey book, a hockey comic book, and people are like a little, but you came up with the perfect, this is what you talk about, hockey fights, Donnybrooks, and you can go with that, and obviously.
Well, tell them the selling point, tell Perry, the people at home, the selling point to me is what, because you needed substance.
Right.
So why did you come to me with this? Because let's go back to before we got Brian on the phone. So you've gone through, what is it called?
Arcane Awakening.
I can never, Arcane Awakening. I'm gonna blend it into my brain. I'll have to figure out what strain I'm gonna put it to.
All right.
But into Donnybrook, because it was obviously the artist. So you had the belief, the self-awareness that you might have something, or maybe you don't. But as long as the right people believe in you or get behind you, so you had that opportunity. And then you got it to a point where you created, because you'd done that already. Right. This is the first issue. Yeah. You've gone through it, and then you found out, right? So tell everybody how you got to my door.
Well, I'm looking at this, and I was like, what this needs is some authenticity. I wanted some real stories to have these characters adapt. So when I met with Mac, I kind of had a cheat sheet before I met you. Like, I knew you were a nerd from back in the day. I was
why? Back at that, because it doesn't matter on these Comic Cons or whatever. See, I'm a jock nerd. Right. You don't have to be like jock nerds, like you see them all the time. I see the Fortnite commercials and stuff. I don't do that, but I like the Star Wars, and I'm a jock my favorite comic book was Spawn. I got to meet Todd McFarlane, got to get all that stuff, and I was into that series and stuff like that. Right. Everybody's into different sort of things. So you knew I was a nerd, and I take that as the greatest compliment from a comic book
there's
guy.
nothing. Yeah, there's
like Perry. If I was being mean, Perry, like I used to be, but now I've changed. Yeah. Like, and I said, like, you're a nerd, like that would be like in a bad way. Right. But you're not a nerd.
No. I
got one.
Yeah.
Did you catch a gold? What is it? A
Chocobo.
Chocobo.
Yeah.
Did you get one?
Did you get it? Okay.
I told him I did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to find out. I think we were all wondering that.
Oh, yeah. No, I ended up doing it. They sent me the email, and it took me a while, but I think I sent back that I finally got one.
So
took about a week, though.
When I went up to Mac, I'm like, I know you got stories, and you're from that era where there was rookie initiations and there was hazing and all in good fun, where they don't really do that anymore. I know the kids tell me that now, like, we don't really do that, but I want that in this book. It's like that should be preserved and we, no one is going to get in trouble because he might have, I remember when so and so did this and so did this. Nope, these fictional characters are going to recreate it for everybody.
Yeah,
and man, like that's. Like, it just feels so real and honest. It's an honest portrayal when you do it that way, I think.
Right, and so you brought, obviously, that was our conversation. And in that, you said, well, I have the first one and read it, and I liked it, obviously, and saw where I could help out. And then, but you've had this big plan. So, here's the thing is that I want people to understand as they're listening to this, too. As Dom made his first steps. You're going to have to learn to embrace the suck.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, with your first goal, you're going to have dreams or whatever. It's like I tell Boogie all the time, or I tell Perry, I say, write it down. Okay? It may not be a good idea right now, but put it off to the side because it might be a good idea later. Right? So you had to, and I encourage people that nothing that you want to work for or believe in, if the intentions are pure, can work out. So you've got yourself to this point. And then, because you had a bigger picture.
Right.
So you came to me with, you had to get in your eyes view, you were planned. Right. You had stages, you had questions, you had to get from, so the lesson here, and I want people to listen and understand, is that the best, what have you put in to get out? It's about hard work and plan your steps. And so explain upon that, because step one was talking to me about the stories to expand.
Right. And, then I've obviously said, you could own one of these fictional teams in the book. And then you want to talk about the life story book? Is that where you're going?
No.
We're still with Donnybrook?
No, we're staying with Donnybrook.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, what I think would be cool is if you had an opportunity to be a 5-time champion, you could be an owner of your own fictional team in the ILHA.
And the nerd in me went, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Wait a sec, because
Yeah.
are you kidding me? I mean, I look behind me and I love all these guys and I love all those 4 cups and stuff, but we're talking about getting, here's the thing, don't be afraid to step into other worlds that you look into, but surround yourself with the people that can lead you and lead you intently. Boogie's helped me that way into cannabis and educating to help me help myself. You in the book, so to be able to get that's like getting drafted almost. I didn't want to make a big deal of it, but I had to hear it out. So
it was a good gateway for you. Yeah.
And then we got the Burnaby Blazers.
Yes. These jerseys, incredible jerseys, were made by your former guest Stalls. We have to,
great
They're
guy.
not my former guests. Say hi, Paul, again. Hey, question. I'll have you on. They are Stalls. They are family. That's the family that they put it up. The
banners.
Right. Stalls custom printing. You need anything printing.
So I thought it was
things.
a good gateway. You want to get into comics, but it's all it's a familiar territory for you. You know hockey, obviously, and you know this. And each of these teams, like with Brian O'Halloran and Brandon Inge, and you, a little bit of each of these guys, these athletes or actors, the teams are going to take on their characteristics a little bit. Like you came to me with it like a day later, and you're like, Dom, this is what my team's going to be.
Bunch of pot-smoking lumberjacks from BC, because their endocannabinoid systems are that's why they're so healthy. I mean, it's just what I've learned. I want to own a bunch of, CBD pot C. I'm going to keep them off. I'm going to keep them on the CBD until after the game. They can get as high as they want after the game. We have different rules in Canada. It's all legal up there.
Right. I was dying.
You're in Michigan. No, but like you said.
You told me the whole concept. I put the phone down and laughed for like 2 minutes.
And it didn't take him anything to
So
know that.
so then Brandon Inge, former third baseman catcher, Tigers love Brandon.
Yes.
What a great guy. Actually, he sent me a picture today.
You named this team too, pretty much. Do you remember?
Yeah. Well, dude, see, that looks like Inge too. You little redneck. That's what the Lynchburg Moonshiners, because that's what he's like, from Lynchburg. So I said, you fucking moonshiners.
Right. Lynchburg, Virginia. Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. So it was on the ice at my charity hockey event, and it was hilarious. I'm in the middle of this conversation, but I can't believe this is happening. He just says, "Where are you from again, Brandon? Lynchburg, Virginia, with a bunch of freaking moonshiners." I was like, and Brandon's like, "That's the name of my team. That's what we're going
there.
with."
Ding, ding. That's funny.
So what do you got?
I got this is for you too. a Lynchburg Moonshiners
Oh,
signed
yeah.
by Brandon Inge.
All right, he can flip me off if he signs me off. All right, Benji, you're lucky, kid. You're lucky.
Yeah, I saw him earlier today. It was great.
I like.
He was fired up. He had the jersey on. He was like, "This is great."
Oh, he was wearing the jersey too?
Oh yeah. But he took a picture flicking off Mac. He's like, "The fuck the Burnaby Blazers."
I like it. Trash talking among
Yeah.
Yeah, a little trash talking.
I love a hockey league where the owners chirp each other all year.
that little love
That's-
fest that him and Brian had just.
That's gonna be the last time.
Yeah.
No,
This is
that's
history.
professional love.
Right.
No, we're not
that's
talking
right. Yeah.
about this. Is
The game.
nothing to
They're
do
right.
with
The game
nerds.
doesn't.
No, the
the
nerds.
ice.
Hey, the nerds haven't combined yet. Bam Bam even knows that. He taught me that back in the business. Yeah, so that leads us. So that's where we're at, and obviously you got the first issue, working on the second.
Yeah.
Trying to get everything coming together. Now this weekend, you'll be at Suburban
Yeah, Motor City Comic Con.
Motor City Comic Con at
Yes.
the Suburban Show Place.
30th anniversary. 30 years.
Cool.
Yeah.
So they dress up and everything for these things. huh?
Oh God, yeah.
They get crazy and
Yeah.
because my wife's really into the Harry Potter shit, right? So
Yeah.
and they really go crazy with that. So
Yeah, this will be my 5th
I think
year.
I think the kids call it cosplay.
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 Yep,
That-
that's
that-
right.
That would be
that's
the
right.
term.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
I know.
Yeah.
getting all the lingo down.
He's an
and
old
everything.
pro. He's an old Comic Con pro.
So
Were you just at the one out at Novi a couple weeks ago at the Sheridan?
It's this weekend.
Well, they had one a couple weeks ago out at Sheridan Hotel in Novi.
I
You
don't
weren't
know.
part of that one, so
No,
this
it's
is
all jobbers. I don't do that.
okay. I just wonder what the. I mean, yeah. 'cause,
what's
I mean,
your job? What's your job?
Small time. Small time.
Oh,
a little
job.
small.
okay. Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
He's in the big leagues now.
well, of course he is. He's sitting at this table.
That's
Well,
right.
You don't get to
Yeah.
sit at this
So-
table
I only
unless you're in
speak
the
the
big
truth.
leagues. I got it
Yeah.
called up. Anyways, did you have a question about Donnybrook before I move on?
No, move on.
Okay. So, which led to obviously comic books, so being a nerd, so our conversation of graphic novels and
Right.
whatever, to reading my book, My Last Fight, True Story of a Hockey Rock Star.
Yeah.
You said to me,
This needs to be a comic book. This story is awesome. This is all over the place. And I was just like, there's so many reasons I want to do this. I didn't even know. I think I was stumbling over my words a little bit, like where to begin with all this. And we got Billy on the phone.
no, we're getting them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, there was so much. I mean, I don't know of another hockey rock star, comedian, all these different things that are part of his life. It's so unique. And there's just, obviously if you've read his novel, that there's some wild shit in there that I was like, I could already envision the pages in my head and wanted to do this. And I think Mac was really into it too.
Well, I was too, because of the completion factor that we could update it to get to the end of what you said. Because the big thing is that what I realized in writing a book, and God bless you, Kevin Allen, I love you, brother, who is the perfect, the total opposite of me, but the perfect person to write my book to get me to where I am, which is part of the healing for me. But I look at the epilogue, and I wrote it 5 years ago. So
Right.
when Dom came to me, it was like, and because I could put more of my style to it. So
Right.
and just so people know, he's got it done. So it's one of these things that I'm still running through. But it was also too is that what you could provide, what you could show as far as ideas you had towards this. So not only
Right.
recreating, for me it was because I could tell the story up to date.
Right. And it was, not only that, we're going to update that story, and it was going to be a love letter to the best time in Red Wings history, in my opinion, and everything that was going on back then. There's little things that when I did my research, I forgot. Remember the little Red Wing flags on all the cars that everyone had?
big time.
And just there was all that little culture that was going on. I'm like, man, how did I forget about that cool thing?
See, I love this. And the different things was when you said that guys that would be excited or interested not only in the story but to to tell my story.
Right.
And through different things. But I'm going to touch on something.
What are you about to read out of?
Yeah, I'm reading out of, this is Never Before. This is part of, we haven't even named it yet, have we?
No, we haven't named it yet.
No, there's not a name to it, but it'll be correlation. But this is what I'm talking about because I can just see it, and this is what I love, and I picked this passage.
This is the comic book script
This
for
is the
your
comic book script for my graphic
life
novel.
story.
And it has my voice saying about joining the Essex County Fight Club, right? Which is Essex County, if you know, is a county I belong where Leamington's in, right? Which I talked to Dom, and I think he so apropos said it because I could just see it. Mac voiceover continued. You have to get into a fight in one of your first 5 NHL games. I barely made it when I fought Bob Rouse in my 5th game because he high-stick probed me in the head in Maple Leaf Gardens. Mac is pummeling Bob Rouse and skates off the ice after he wins the fight and opens the door to hear voiceover, here he is, and sees reenactment of You Broke Your Cherry scene from Goodfellas. Trying to make Dom's words from my head into people's pictures the way that you've done so well over your career, bro. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir. And I got to tell you, it's a real privilege talking to you. And I talked to Dominic, and he knows I'm a huge fan of yours. So,
tell me a little bit. Let's tell the grind time obvious with Darren Mccarty about where you're from and your hockey love. Give me some Billy Tucci growing up hockey love. Who your hockey guys were? Who broke your heart? Are you a Ranger guy or Islander guy?
Fuck it, no. I'm an Islanders fanatic,
bro. So you?
No, I can't curse. So sorry.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can curse on my show, bro. You don't fucking. That's for ESPN and all the other shit. You're not fucking like I tell Aaron all the time. Are we here? He said, can we smoke here? No. And I'm like, are we here? Yeah, fuck, let's go.
If you don't curse, you get an invoice.
Yeah. it's opposite. I'll fine you for not being real.
So speaking of heart, who broke your heart? I'm still reeling from 2 weeks ago when the Islanders lost, 4 in a row to fucking Hurricanes, and I just can't believe it. And even though I hate Boston, it would be kind of sweet to have them sweep Carolina.
Well, that's what you got. That's what you got to offer. That's what you got to hope for when you get your guts blown out. Because I didn't see it coming after that first round.
You know what it was, and like I said, the officiating has just been horrible. Because I know we're supposed to talk about art and comics and all, but like I said, I'm a hockey nut, so. I just think the officiating killed them in the first 2 games, and they dominated both those games, and just the goals that were called back, and just penalties that weren't called, and they just got screwed, and they just didn't recover. Even Game 3, they won. They disallowed Devin Tays' goal. You saw that. He kicked the puck. It was a rebound. It kicked it from behind the net. It wasn't. It wasn't intended kicking it into the net. And it went in,
But you're not bitter, though.
Really,
you're not bitter, are you?
What's that?
You're not bitter, though, are you?
No, I'm real bitter. Oh, yeah.
Dude, now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this as an artist, and I'm looking at your Joker right here. But I'm looking as an artist. Does that relate? Because not only being out, and I got a tough time really feeling sorry for you because I think we're at least around the same age. So you remember the Islanders winning 4 in a row, right? That was, right. So you know what, bro? You know what to me, what that showed, and yeah, you did get unfortunate, but a lot of times that's the inexperience of the team that gets that rattled, where what you see is like Boston is at the end of their run where you guys got Pittsburgh that was over it. Every team, you've seen it. Everything goes. You guys will be fine. This will be the greatest learning experience for you. Now, hell on you guys. And
fuck him. For nothing. He's a friggin' snake, that guy. I mean, what he did and the whole, I was at my, I go to a bunch of games. And
were you there for that one return? The return? Dude, that was unbelievable, bro.
February 29th, I was there, and with my son, and so all of a sudden we get to our seats, and there's 3 guys we never met before, and they were from England, and they were hockey coaches from England, and they just big hockey fans, and they wanted to this was their vacation, so they went to see I think the Devils twice, the Rangers, and then the Islander game. They got a whole bunch. They got a block of four games, and they were living. I guess they were staying.
I
in
wonder
Manhattan.
who that fucking travel agent was. They should be fucking fired.
Yeah,
Let's go spend it. Dude, did they know there's Tampa Bay? Right? There's like a team that, and we're talking about regular season Tampa Bay, right? That you could go down and, that's just bad information.
Yeah, but like, and those guys, they were like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I've never heard anything like this. I can't believe it.
I'd never seen anything like it in my life.
That was wild.
It was
Dude,
like,
you were going crazy.
dude, I'll tell you this: the worst heckler in the league when I played was sat behind the bench in L.A. Right? And that game you're talking about reminded me of the friggin' 15,000 of that motherfucker behind the bet but the thing that I got out of it, right, dude, was the passion. Like the you can't, like, there's a demonstration, but there's also, like, that was real. The betrayal, the feel that sports can display to you, and you're still reeling over 2 weeks ago, which I was just gonna tell you that from my experience, it's the greatest thing to happen to your organization, because like you said, you have cap room, you can make decisions, you know which way you got to go. If we don't lose to Jersey in 95, we win one, maybe two, but we don't win four. We don't come back in 02 down two, going on the road to Vancouver for sure. I think that you guys definitely, in my opinion, with Barry Trotz, who I have the utmost respect for, I think that, it'll be interesting. Like you said, it'll be very interesting to see what happens at the draft, but also what happens in free agency for you guys.
Well, let me tell you, I got to say, just as you, being a fan of you as a player, and after the lockout, you know what I mean? If the Wings kept you, they would have won another cup at least,
Yeah, well,
you're a good.
You're a smart hockey guy, but I mean, that's all right.
Yeah, well, that's what I like.
But I didn't. But hey, you know what though, and self-awareness, and I preach it. That was as much my doing as it was theirs. So it was. I was in the revolt era, and in hindsight, I would probably do things a little bit different to have enabled that to happen. But again.
Yeah.
That's no, it's one of those things that without it, I was just grateful enough to come back because, in 08 to win that one. And I knew that there was something that I could add. And it was not as much on the ice as it was attitude around that back in, even in 08, you could sit on the end of the bench and you could, I guess dictate not momentum, but you could handle, like, there's a storm that goes on, right? And when you have experience,
there's not going to be. I mean, they're all veterans now on that team, and they got such a young team. I mean, you got some of your older guys, like I don't think Philip will be back. A couple of guys, like I said. But they got a great farm system. I'm just sorry to talk about the Islanders because I'm still reeling from it. And getting back to Tavares, what he did, and he even admitted it, if I may. And people were saying shit about the Islander fans, and you could say whatever you want, but we're long-suffering, and we know the game. You know what I mean? I played hockey since I was 7 years old. We're all fans. The Ranger fans, half the people in any given Ranger game at the Guard have never been to a hockey game in their life. We got the same old blue collar lunch pail. That's us, Long Island guys.
I'll tell you what fucked you guys. It wasn't the refs. It was the fact that they had to play in Brooklyn. The fact that you couldn't play in the aisle. No. That's the fucking. You want to talk about home ice? That was the biggest thing. I don't care what you say. Yeah. Because you could have. The way that you played, that team played. It's like, go watch a video. Go watch the highlights, the way that, and the fans have a big part of that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I said, they bitch about, the Coliseum is no longer, an NHL quality arena because they don't have the media boxes or whatever, and it just seats just shy of 14,000. I think it's like 13,997 or something like that. But the thing is, would you rather have 13,000 people, close to 14,000, almost a sellout every night, so 42 nights out of the year, or would you rather have, playing at a 20,000 seat arena, which is the Barclays, and have 8,000 people
With
there.
no
'Cause nobody wants to go there.
no
They're not from
atmosphere.
Brooklyn,
No
I mean, Brooklyn
atmosphere.
is on Long Island. You know what I mean? It is. But it's like a whole different world. The parking sucks. The people suck. You can't tailgate. You know what I mean? And it's like you go and you got to you park next door at the Barclays, like at that thing. It's like $60 for a game.
Whew.
You know what I mean? So it's like, who do I want? So you got to park, and I'm pretty fortunate. I'm not cheap, but I'm not hurt. But thank God I'm not hurt for money, nothing. But I'd rather walk, a couple of blocks and pay $21 to park. And even that, it's like, geez, you got to be kidding me. So
Shit, who can afford to go anywhere?
I agree.
Yeah, but so we'll see. Who knows? I mean, like I said, the players hate the ice. The ice, they use PVC pipes to make, for the ice underneath. They have metal pipes, aluminum pipes or steel pipes even. So it's slushy. It just sucks over there. I mean, we'll still go, but it does, But,
And that's your professional
like I say,
opinion.
But yeah. So, but you know what? I gotta say, like I said, finishing up my final thing on Tavares is that he really strung them along. And I blame Garth Snow, that piece of garbage, because I gave money for the billboard. You know what I mean? It's like
dude, hey.
I gave $40 for that. Yeah.
How do you feel about Spano?
About who?
About
Steve
Spano.
I'm sorry, who?
Isn't the owner Spano?
The guy that remember the former owner from years ago that bought the
Oh,
team,
the one
fraud.
that signed DiPietro to a 15-year contract? Still paying
Fraudulent
for
owner?
it?
Yeah, fuck him. But Lang, Mr.
That's all
Lang
Perry
is a
wanted
nice
you to
guy.
say is fuck him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But but like I said with Tavares, they were bitching about us being, unclassy fans. But, we were chanting, please don't trade me, because that's what he said. I don't want to be traded. We'll do this in the offseason. And then we even met Chico Resch, who was the longtime great goalie, Colorado goalie, too. And we saw him. He's a color analyst for the Devils. We're at the Devils game. This is last year. And my friend's son goes, holy shit, it's Chico Resch. So we go over there and just start talking to him, hanging out, spending a half hour talking to Chico Resch. And he's like, he's going to leave, and you guys are going to get nothing. What's going on with him? And we're like, we don't know. And then the thing is, though, then Tavares admitted, he said he didn't want to be traded because he didn't want the team he was going to lose any assets. So maybe we'll make Marner an offer sheet and get him, or at least let them pay out of the way, and then they're screwed with the cap.
Would that make you happy, a little bit happier? Are you into so whatever screws Toronto now?
Maybe I said enough.
No, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this is what. No, I like it because, dude, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about art in a minute, but I'm gonna get you back. Yeah. I'm gonna get you back on your free agency after some shit goes on, because dude, you're gonna be my Islander, like a metropolitan area, hockey guy. This guy fucking sucks.
Oh man, listen, I'd be honored, man. I would be honored. It's
Live Tucci reactions.
That's it. If we gotta go, if we gotta go to the Tooch. Gotta go see what the Tooch is feeling. All right, good.
Hey, Billy, what?
I'll do that. But I gotta say that said though, like with Matt Barzell, I played, I played center. Actually, I was a righty. I played center, and everybody wanted 19 because of Trottier, and he was like my hero growing up, Brian Trottier. So I'm Tucci, so I'm teased. So by the time it came for my number, 19 was gone by like Jones or somebody like that, or
Fucking
another
Jays.
Irishman, Long Island. So I was like, well, what? My birthday's the 13th, so I was 13. So I remember going back 3 years now. And my buddy, I played hockey with, he's like, you got to see this kid Barzell. He's number 13. He's a center. He's right. He's a righty like you. You got to check him out. So, of course, I saw him in the juniors, and I was like, oh, my God, this kid's amazing. So I went to the last, not this past season, the season before, they had the one game at the Coliseum, and it was a preseason game against the Flyers. It was sold out. It was crazy. You'd think that it was game one of the finals. And he played. And I walked in there, and I had a Barzell jersey. I was the only guy with a Barzell jersey in the whole place. And I think he scored that game, too, in the preseason game. They won 2-1. Tavares scored in overtime. And now forget it. I could see a Barzell. But that kid, I wouldn't trade that kid for anyone in the league.
Listen, and what I got from that conversation is my man Tucci was on the Barzell train before anybody else, right? Is that what I gotta say? Hey, I'm gonna say Billy Tucci, illustrator extraordinaire / Barzell's #1 fan.
Oh yeah. My son, I think my son's my 7-year-old son's probably a bigger fan than me of his, but yeah, and you know, I even got his jersey with the Reebok because they didn't even have the Adidas jerseys yet.
Oh, nice, so dude. That is sad, dude. Hey, wait, Bam. You know about jerseys and stuff like that, right? So, like, no, I'm talking to my producer, Bam here. He knows about the jerseys and stuff like that. So, if he says he goes back to the Reebok, that's like before the Adidas. That makes it not only worth more, right?
In my opinion, I think the Reebok is the shittiest jersey of them all. I can't believe they went to Reebok. How is Reebok going to sponsor your league? Reebok?
Yeah.
I mean, they were popular with the pump, but I mean,
I don't know what the hell they did or what kind of deal because the CCMs were really nice. That's they look cheap. Even a Reebok Pro jersey with the fighting strap in the back, a Pro jersey. It looks cheep. I mean, not that you can, Darren. Whipping your,
on jersey, right?
Yeah, my man.
That's
my man Tucci from Long Island. He knows that.
All day he's dropping $250.
I told you, Mac. Tucci's no joke.
Oh, $250. I went into the NHL store because my son took my old one. So I'm like, well, I want to get a Pro jersey. So I went in there and I went to the NHL store in the city. Because I can't, because my wife doesn't think I bought a new hockey jersey in 10 years. Or a fishing pole or a gun. She does not know I do any of that. So I get some cash in my pocket, so I go to the NHL store, and I got it for, it was $325 because you get the lettering now. The name.
You got to get the double stitched, and there's no way.
You got to get the and you got to get the glue. There's glue on the name. So these are glue too. I'm like, ooh, all right, I'll spend that.
Gotta have the glue.
If you don't, and a big old smile.
And you know that if you don't have that authentic, that you're just walking around feeling like a dirtbag anyway, right?
You do. Right. You know.
Because you know it's cheap.
Well, here's the thing.
You really do.
But here's the thing. What it is because you make it like it means something. The self-awareness to the authenticity to know that you're in there first, and that's one thing here with Grind Time. What I want you to know is you never know who in this table, conversation, whatever, where it's gonna go.
Right.
Because that's an important thing. If for anybody out there. That's jersey. That's an important for Boogie's. He likes his jerseys. He's working on stuff for these for the Slapstick Comedy Tour merch. You with jerseys, Perry. That striped jersey that he fucking smells up, Zebra. Bam's got his fucking finger on the pulse of fucking what is cool and what is not in his world, anyways. So that all works out. So. Back to let's get off the hockey for a minute, but about
all right, sure, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry, bro. We're gonna talk, dude. This is just the first of many, but I want to get to a little bit of what is your favorite thing that you've drawn over the years, or project that you've gotten involved with, or something
it's funny that, a lot of my friends, I think there's more professional players in the NBA than are guys actually making a living doing comic books. And we get this question all the time, and it's like, what do you draw for fun? And I got to tell you, I say, I don't draw for fun. I draw for money. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
So,
dude, hey.
But the thing I love to draw, I'm known for drawing women, you know what I mean? Because my main character, she, and I do a lot of pinups, a lot of covers. I do a lot of female drawings, but I also do I love drawing war stuff. I love drawing P-51s, and Corsairs and Tiger tanks and stuff like that. That's what I'd really rather draw. But this thing what I really like to draw, I love the Rocketeer. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Comic character.
I've seen the movie.
I love the Rocketeer, and anyone says if I draw for a kid, or stuff like that, and I'll do something, I don't charge them, I just do it. And they're like, draw whatever you want. And I draw a Rocketeer. I just love that character. I love, Jennifer Connelly in the movie was really hot, if you ever seen it.
Absolutely. I've seen it. I'm with you. Yeah. I'm there, bro.
So, that's it. But I love drawing war stuff. I really do. And so it's, that's what I like to do.
What are some of the stuff you're doing now?
Right now, I'm working. I just finished a Wonder Woman thing. I got my new book, Zombie Sama, coming out, which is kind of a funny zombie story. And that's, we just did a crowdfunding thing with that, and we raised $67,000 for it to make this book. So, and you go directly to the fans. This is what's great about the crowdfunding comics. You know, you go to Indiegogo or Kickstarter, and you go directly to them.
I love the cover, dude.
Yeah, and you gotta, that's something you guys should think about too, and because the fans embrace you, and it's nice because they they're taking money out of their own pocket to support your art,
Hey,
so
Bill.
I got that going out, and I got another book come out that's out now. The 5th issue came out today, called Appalachian Apocalypse. And then I have my new my character She is why I'm here talking to you, because this book I did 25 years ago. We did about 100 issues of it. It's like a modern-day samurai story, and she's a beautiful Asian woman, And I did that for about 12 years, and I got kind of burnt out. And then I did a lot of DC stuff, like Batman and things like that. And then but now I'm going back to it. So that's next month. We launched that as a crowdfunded book next month. So
this is funny that you say that, and talk to me about what you've noticed, because I just had Brian O'Halloran, who you know as Dante from Clerks, on, and that's a 25-year sort of revival that there's still going on. What are the things, obviously I atone it to, everything's cyclical. We're coming back around to like 30 years back to like sort of the 90s or
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but you have to, the thing is that the artists have to be inspired to bring it back. Like you said, I know the feeling, because I had to take a break from hockey before really getting back into the alumni or deciding to participate in life again, I guess. But I guess my question would be the difference between starting it back then to revitalizing it now in Billy Tucci's eyes.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, the way I'm doing the book, though, is that the book is, and I've never seen this done before in the comics, I'm making it, it's 25 years removed from the very first series. So now my character, Anna's in her 40s, you know what I mean? She's a single mother raising her daughter. And people say, why hasn't there been She in 12 years? And my thing is, well, there hasn't had to be. She's had a nice life. You know what I mean? She's now, she's a curator of the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens, and she's raising her daughter. Her husband's in jail. He was a vigilante in the comic series. He was a cop, and he became a vigilante. Now he's in jail because guys I found out don't want my character to have a love interest for some friggin' weird reason. A lot of them a little weird,
You
and
think because they're all fucking jerking off to her. Fucking
probably.
They don't fucking, they're not into cuckolding. They're not into cuckolding right now. Fuck.
Yeah,
because
Jesus.
Superman. Grind time with Darren Mccarty. I'm just gonna fucking give it to you straight. That's good. You got a fucking hot Asian you draw that's fucking sexy as fuck, and there's guys out there that jerk off to that shit. I mean, this is like fuck. I mean, that's why they don't want. For any of my listeners out, Mama J, and I apologize, but to anybody out there, that's pretty much what it is in this world. I mean, everybody's got their thing, but the fact that I think that's a great story, because did you ever think you would have got to the point to revitalize her? But I love the fact that that space in between is her enjoying life and before she has to get back into the life. But did you ever see you getting back to her? Was that always a plan?
Yeah, I always knew I was going to go back to it, but I was waiting for the right story, and I couldn't figure what it was. And then I thought, holy shit, why don't I just age her? Because my wife is I've been with my wife for almost 30 years, and she's never looked more beautiful to me. She looks great. She dresses great, so why not have a character, you know what I mean? Have a comic character grow up. And then she's got her adorable little daughter, the 16-year-old little shit, this little snot-nosed little head kid. You know what I mean? And the daughter has no idea that her mother was a part of this shadow society and this warrior thing. And then it all comes back. You know what I mean? They come after her. They found her because she was kind of in hiding, And now she has to protect her daughter. And it's cool, but getting back to the thing, like Superman has Lois Lane, right? The fans like that. Wonder Woman doesn't have anyone. Batman has Catwoman. He could be because he's Batman first.
Nobody jerks off to Lois Lane. Nobody jerks off to Lois Lane. Guys jerk off to Wonder Woman. It's a fucking jerk off scale.
Hey,
Bam
Billy.
Bam, I mean, Bam Bam's like over here going, dude, it's a fucking. Hey, Ezus, my professional fucking. If Ezus is still in the room, Ezus is part of the Detroit cast. He would know most about jerking off to probably. He jerked off to she before. Ezus, if you're in the house, come on down here for a minute. Clarification, but no, because that's why
in your spank bank.
That's how you know, right? That's how you know if your character's hot enough, right? Is if they're spank worthy, then you hear from the grumbling of the trolls.
Oh, you know what? You can keep them happy, Billy, and give her a female love interest.
Holy shit, Perry, you're onto it.
Give her a what?
She's a lick-a-lot.
I said give her a female love interest.
He said just
it's the sign of the times.
Make her lick a lot of puss.
Yeah, her best friend is a lesbian, and she's been a lesbian for 25 years. So I was ahead of the curve on all that.
There you go. Yeah,
he's got it sitting in the back waiting just in case.
Billy,
that's right. There you go. That appeases to the married folk.
Right,
Billy. I saw you at a con like 10 years ago. I don't know if you still do this, but I thought it was hilarious. I was walking by. I didn't say hello or anything, but all of a sudden a bell rang. And I looked at it, I go, what was that? And I didn't know you. You didn't know me. And you're like, oh, that was the hot chick bell. Did you see her? She went right down that way. I'm like, what? Did you?
Yes.
Do you still do that?
Do that for that? Yes. we broke the bell. We've
There's that many hotties at the Comic-Con?
Oh, yeah.
The hot chick bell. Well, now, then we had like 4 bells. But then it went to the... It went so here's a funny story. So that was a joke. It's really like the inappropriate bell, but every time a girl walks by, it's supposed to be inappropriate. So whenever you say, like the stupid stuff, like you see a guy standing in front of you and he smells like real bad cigarettes, he's just unhealthy, and you just look at your friend, I smell cancer. Just stuff like that we do. Just real stupid.
So it's not specific to one thing.
Yeah. And then it just turned to a hot chick bell. And then the funny story is that my buddy, I'm sitting there signing with my head down, and we're at San Diego Comic-Con, I think the big one. And I'm not paying attention because I'm doing a sketch or I'm signing books, and my buddy comes up and just hits the bell, and I look up, because as soon as that bell rings, you got to look up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's like a 6-year-old girl dressed in a Wonder Woman costume in front of me. I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch. He's not laughing at me, Because people don't know. I mean, I guess, You heard, because we said, oh, yeah, that's not chick bell, or the inappropriate bell.
Bill.
It's just, not politically correct at all. But
so I'm curious. Now, I think I heard about your career. You were drawing, and the way you were drawing, I mean, it's crazy to me with a talent like you that you had to do this, but they weren't looking for the way you were drawing. Were too elongated, your characters or something like that. So you just kind of did it on your own, and you didn't wait for anything. You just started your own comic company. Is that how it went down?
Yeah. I tried to get work at Marvel in DC, but I went to FIT in New York. Well, I went to FIT in New York City, so it was the Fashion Institute of Technology. And dude, that was great because there's like 8 girls to every guy, and half the guys were gay. So I had either way, I was in, man.
Hey, dude, I knew all great artists are inspired somewhere. I mean, you know what? Sometimes they think it's you go to college or to go to school to get out of the book. No, you're inspired by the class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're a visual artist, right? I mean, you need to see stuff. I mean, like that's. Like, I can't draw. I can draw stick people. That's it. My kids are great draw. I can't. I don't have that gene. I got the gene of punching people in the face. What? That's the whole thing. I was going to ask you. So that's you believe that's because you had that belief in yourself. It's what I'm getting to here at Grind Time is that what have you put in to get out of it? And because it's hard work. If anything that you've accomplished. Not been with the hard work, and Dom always says, because I say, if you can embrace the suck, then you can get ahead.
Yep. Well, that's the whole thing. It's like I said, like you said, you can't draw a stick figure, and I can't beat up Cam Russell twice in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? So I
made me the team, bro.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. But I totally did. I after college, I joined the Army, the National Guard I went into then. And, I was a paratrooper and stuff, and I They really instilled a confidence in me. And when I got, and then when I was doing it and I got rejected from Marvel and DC because I didn't draw in that particular style,
Right.
I was like, the hell with these guys. Why don't I do my own book, And I did. I didn't know what I was doing, but I went to the library. I started talking to comic book retailers. I started buying the magazines and figuring out how a comic book's made. And within 6 months or so, my book hit, and I wanted to do a full color comic. And I made, I had my wife type up a letter saying she was director of marketing for Crusade Comics, and I'm doing this out of my 1-bedroom apartment, And there was a lot of adversary in the way. I had partners that tried to screw me over and things like that. But, when that book came out, and I said, I'm going to do a full color comic book. Why can't I do a comic just as good, if not better, than the big two, And I did it. And I had no money. I was 6 months behind in my rent. But I think because I was so enthusiastic about it and I believed in it. And right, Darren, you know that you see, can I call you Mac? I don't know if I can call you Mac.
You call me whatever you want.
All right,
all right,
thanks. So, because I called you guys collect on this call. So I don't know if you know that. So, I just felt like, who the hell are they to tell me I can't do it? Because everyone was telling me you can't do this. You got a lot of people. When you're enthusiastic about something and you really believe in it, you got the passion. Now you got to be good at something. It's got to be good. It can't be a piece of garbage. But that enthusiasm is then contagious. So I ended up having the printers print the book for me for nothing, and I told them, "Here's my orders. I got 37,000 pre-orders for this book. I promise you, I'm giving you my word as a man that you'll be the first person I pay." And you don't find a lot of that anymore. And they believed me. And I did, and I followed through. And I got to tell you, Matt, within 3 weeks of that book hitting the stands, we had reorders for over 140,000 copies.
Fuck.
But I only printed 50,000, So what I did then was like, well, that's it. You can't get the book. And that made it hot. You know what I mean? It made it real popular. And another thing I did is that people, when you have these catalogs, so you get the catalog and you see when the book's going to be in the stands, right? So mine was March. And then usually you'll then do April. You solicit the second issue. What I did was I waited until June when my first issue was in the stands for the retailers to order the book. Mm-hmm. So my orders actually increased with every book because the book's blowing out. They look in the catalog to see if they can order the second issue, and it's right there. And so our second issue, I think our numbers for the second issue went to like 80,000, and we just kept going up from there. And then within a year, we were out selling every Batman, every DC comic, every Batman, Superman book.
Yeah, you sold a couple copies of She, didn't you? You sold a couple copies of She, didn't you, Billy?
What's that, say again?
You sold a couple copies of She.
But that all stemmed from someone telling you couldn't do it, right?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yep, right. That's exactly what it is. And we grew up, like I said, out here, on the island and all, and it's you got the Hamptons out there, and then you got more towards the city. But the majority of us are real like red state guys. You know what I mean? We're all like real blue collar people. All half my friends seem to be lawyers, and the other half cops or firemen. You know what I mean? But everyone, and we grew up in that '80s, and we were like Reagan kids. And then when my mother had her own business, and it wasn't a good business. But I remember when Reagan got elected president in 1980, and I saw my mother change and the whole country change from that 70s. If you saw Miracle, you know what I mean, with the hostages and the gas lines and the recession and all that like that. And then he came and he just through willpower and just with good policies, he literally changed that country. And we grew up in that. So we grew up like, yeah, I can go to college. How do I go to college? Well, you got to go get a student loan. So I put on probably a suit that was, a size or two too small for me, and I walked into the bank. And like, yeah, I said, I'm here to get a guaranteed student loan because every American's guaranteed a student loan. So I went there and I signed. I had to bring it home, get a co-signer on it. I think my girlfriend's father signed it for me actually, and I was able to pay it for school. There's a will. If there's a will, there's a way, and it's amazing how soft people have gotten, you know what I mean? And everyone, this entitlement and all this crap, and they just don't know what it's like, to really, pull yourself up from your bootstraps and just get it done.
Most of
grind
them
in the
don't leave
corner
their
and all that
Hey,
shit.
these guys are all looking at me because, dude, you sound exactly like me, and obviously being the same age. But it's just so apparent right now, and as you talk and whatever, why, the connection that we have, even though now with this project with Dom, but it's because it's supposed to be, because that's what I'm trying to do is facilitate people like yourself in this world to not only, like I said, Dom's my guy in the comic book, graphic novel world and stuff like that, to introduce to people like yourself with the same mentality of working hard. I had the same thing. I do my comic skit. I do, or one of the things is my 9th grade math teacher, Mr. Tymek, was the one that didn't get along, and then I had him again in 10th grade, and then I went away to junior, and he's the one that said to the class that I wouldn't make it. I'd be back in 2 weeks, and so I sent him a rookie card, said, thanks for the support, fuck you.
But don't kill the messenger, right?
Right. Don't kill the messenger, my sister, because she was in the class at the time. That's how things work out. But it just, it's the epitome. I look forward to this journey that whatever else. Now, I got a question on the Comic-Cons. What's your favorite part of the Comic-Cons? Because you've definitely done a million.
Well, Dom can tell you, the nights, man, hanging out at night. You go to the bar, drinking some beers, hanging out with your friends, decompressing. I mean, it is great. What's so cool is that what's amazing about these comic book conventions is if you do a book, right, and these people come to you with the book that they paid money out of their own pocket, and they bought something you created, and they thank you for it. And I'm like, no, thank you. You changed my life. I'd be painting bridges for a living, or houses if it weren't for people like you. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if I painted bridges, I'd probably be retired now working for the state of New York or something with a real nice pension. So maybe I should have painted bridges.
I get it, bro, because I feel that way every time I sign that fight photo or whatever it is, the appreciation and, the fellowship, obviously, doing different things. Do you have any Comic-Cons? We got one here this Saturday. You got anything coming up? People can catch you?
I'm so depressed that I got invited to go to the Novi show, and it's one of my favorite shows, and I go every year. But it's my nephew's communion, her first Holy Communion.
You gotta do it.
So I can't miss that. No. You know what I mean? So, but
family
we got family out in Grosse Pointe area. My cousins own the Rustics bar. If you ever been there, the Rustics, and I just love coming out there and hanging out.
Well, when you're, I was gonna say when you're in town, definitely got to come in and come
next
in the
year for
studio
sure.
and you let Dom know and put you on the schedule, even if it's not on a night we shoot. We'll make sure that we'll make it a special because we got this project going on, and I like what we got so far. As Dom had showed me the talking about the graphic novel and stuff like that. So I'm honored and I'm privileged, and I'm gonna reach out to you in the future. We're gonna talk hockey, and then we're gonna talk bit of the comic book stuff, and you can help weave the way through for me and for Grind Time, buddy. Appreciate it.
That's how I met Billy.
And we got to get that colored. I did the just the line art for it. I got to get my colorist buddy, and he'll color it up.
What I said to Dom.
And I also.
Yeah. Sorry. What I said to Dom and what I tell these guys and what we're doing is what I've learned is building like the foundation for everything. So it's slow and steady wins the race. We do it right. We do it the right way, which is our way, because it's everybody's got the right intentions. And I really do appreciate not only just getting to know you a little bit over the phone, but what you put into this. So it means a lot.
So
to
it's an honor. I got to tell you, it was an honor, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of yours.
They're Billy.
Like all from the beginning. You know what I mean? The Wings, I think, probably my second favorite team are the Wings, And you're a big part of that. You're a big reason for it.
I appreciate it, bro, because you know what? Yeah, I realize it a lot. You like winners.
Hey, Billy, I can't wait to hear the next time we talk to you how you feel about Tavares.
No, dude. I hope they do offer sheet Mitch Marner. I hope he gets into a little pissing contest, because that's just karma. And you know, my opinion to your point, it's the way that it went down. It's not. It's the way that because you're looking out for your future, whatever. No, you should. What he should have done is said, trade me, and then if he wanted to re-sign with them or whatever, because then he would load up the team or not, or go to a team that you're not gonna sign with.
Yep.
So
and that's what every
to me, it's the intentions weren't pure. It was off, and that's what I have a problem with.
Yep, and I agree with you, and that's all of us and like the press and you watch NHL Network and stuff like that, and on the fly, and they're saying, get some class. The guy, no, it's how he did it and what he did for the organization that embraced him and loved it. Yeah. And if he got traded, if he would have got traded, he would have gone down as one of the most beloved hockey players, in franchise history. He would have if he said trade me. But then again, we could have got Carlson, we could have got Duchesne for him. And we ended up getting nothing, and he ended up screwing this organization that raised him, And it's just, like I said, it's the way he did it. And again, we're not idiot fans. We're not Ranger fans, half the Ranger fans. We're not, we're...
Suck it, O'Halloran. That's going to be good.
I know.
It's just me razzing. My wife's a Ranger fan, but she was so hot when I met her. I'm like,
priorities. That bell went off, and you looked up, and it was done. I had the same thing happen to me.
I know Billy is a fan because when I met him after a con, I think it was in Baltimore or something, and we had beer, right, Billy? We had one. And that's
the biggest lie. No one can ever have one.
So I'm like, hey, I'm doing this comic on Darren Mccarty. The hockey. He goes, get the fuck out of here. You're not doing a book on Darren McCarty. And I'm like, yeah, I swear.
I remember.
And I'm like, he goes, all right, I'm doing the cover. I'm doing the fucking cover. And I'm like, all right, you're doing the cover. That's how it all went down. So I know he is a fan.
I think that's exactly what I said. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. But I think you act like I didn't know. I'm like, get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, it was all New York all the way. And I appreciate you, Billy. Thank you for doing the cover, man. So far, it looks awesome.
No, and it's going to look beautiful. Like I said, we got it colored. It's going to look gorgeous. I got these ideas of the red and white streaks, behind him and all, and I think it's going to be beautiful. It's really going to look great.
Bro, I know you're going to give me the best cover, and I'm going to have some people jerking off to it. So awesome. That's what you do. Yeah, Billy Tucci? Oh, Billy Tucci? Yeah, the jerk-off cover? Oh, yeah, I got
it. You got the best jerk-off artist.
I like it, but hey.
Oh, wait a minute.
If you're going to...
That's my new nickname now, right? Jerk-off artist.
Yeah, put that on your backdrop, Billy. Billy Tucci, jerk-off artist.
Hey, you know what? If you're going to be good, you might as well be the best, right, Billy?
I guess so.
All right, brother.
I guess you're right.
I'm going to let you go until next time. Thank you, and we will be in touch.
And it was an honor, and thank you so much for having me. And anytime you want to come on and you want someone to bitch about the Metro, I'm your guy.
Yeah, trust me. We'll take it up on that. Thank you.
See you, buddy. Fuck Brad Marchand.
Yeah. That next conversation. Who's a bigger prick, Tavares or Marchand? Next time with Billy Tucci.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you really. Fuck.
I love it.
He's a beauty, huh?
You see, the real is like, and with New Yorkers, and it's right, Long Island, gotta always get the digging. It's like Michigan State, like you're not as smart. It's the same thing as those guys. You can't.
I liked Billy right away.
I love the accent.
The realness, and then when you hear what he's talking about as far as believing in himself and doing it, that's what grind time's all about. It's for everybody. Just
somebody telling him.
I decided to put my name on it with Darren McCarty just because, when I can use the line. No, because when I can use the line is if your name's on the T-shirt, then you got the most say. So that's me. So, yeah, exactly, right? That's the way it works out.
Shit, you're gonna give me a T-shirt.
Hey, before now, so we covered the Donnybrook, and we covered.
So was that the excerpt? That was the one.
That was the one I wanted to read.
Nice.
Yeah, so far. Just on stuff like that. But if you,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm looking through, I love the way it's broke down. I'm almost done with it, but then I got to let Mama read it. So
Right.
she's got to go through it. So
Is the cover a secret, or is that you have a?
No, I got it. I have the pencils for it. I'll show you.
cool.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll let you see it, Boogie. So we were talking before about the Comic-Cons and stuff, and I want to give some people before we leave. So if people don't know about them, it's comics and entertainment and stuff. So who's
Yeah.
so like wrestlers and
Yeah.
who have you met? Tell us who you've
Oh,
met
God.
that you've not who, but who's impressed you. Give us a couple guys and a couple stories, maybe a couple wrestlers or
Yeah.
that you've met over.
Yeah, so as far as wrestlers go, I was talking to Bam Bam earlier. I was at All In Chicago. That's that All Elite Wrestling, the new thing that's going to be hopefully some competition for WWE. It was at I forget the name of the arena, but
So this is like a competition. So is it like a WCW?
yeah, they got huge funding. I mean, the guy, the Khan family, they own the Jacksonville Jaguars, so they're going to take.
Well, they do a great job with them.
Yeah. So at that show, God,
Fat cash,
yeah.
like the bees. They got the billions.
So I was
Is
promoting
that
the
Michael Kahn?
what's that?
Michael Kahn?
No, Shaka.
Oh,
I met
God, you are old because you knew that.
Wait, she's
Yeah,
got
holy shit, you're old. You knew that.
Ooh, Shaheed, 6.8. That's it.
6.8
That mustache can't be real. He stole that from Raleigh Fingers.
Leroy Neiman.
Yeah, so I met so I was promoting the Roddy Piper book that I'm doing that we're in production of right now. Roddy Piper, The Kilted Avenger. He's a talk show host by day and vigilante by night. And that's funded through Pro Wrestling Tees, which is a huge pro wrestling company that gives all these great deals better than they do with WWE for T-shirt and merchandise and stuff. So I'm at this show, and I was a guest with the artist from the Piper book. So we're there in the green room. I'm meeting all these guys. I mean, I sat there and had more than one drink with Buff Bagwell. Remember him? And
You're buff, Bam Bam.
Oh, Buff
Buff the stuff.
Buff the stuff.
Was he looking buff?
He looks great.
Was he all manicured goatee?
Yeah. He looks just like he did, man.
Was he glistening tanned?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Looks like he just came out of a tanning
Did he
bed.
have the strut going?
When we were sitting at the bar, we weren't
Show
strutting.
the folks. You got to show the folks buff.
We weren't strutting. His wife had to help us to the elevator. I mean, I was a mess. He was a mess. But I met DDP, Diamond Dallas Page.
Dude, speaking of that, I'd love to talk to him because that yoga.
Yeah.
That whatever DDP yoga is supposed to be awesome for.
He's everything. He's the most positive, he's always giving some, I talk to him and say hello. It's like an inspirational speech.
There he is.
Yeah, Buff the stuff, baby.
Look at that. Oh,
There's
Booker T. Oh, Mean Gene. Oh, resting Mean Gene.
There's Buff.
There's Buff. God, is that a glistening tan? Oh, fucking Steiner.
Yeah.
The reclap. That is Big Papa Pump right there, baby.
In his prime, yeah.
Holy shit. That WCW? Yeah, it is. WCW, not Joe, Monday night. Anyway, so you got shit-faced with Bagwell.
Yeah, that was great. And Bubba Ray Dudley from the Dudley Boys.
Oh, yeah.
He's huge.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Who's somebody that you've met that is, big, that you wouldn't realize either they're bigger in real life or smaller or prettier or uglier?
The one guy that shocked me, this guy is a mountain, and for whatever reason on TV, he looks muscular, but he doesn't look huge, is Billy Gunn. Remember Billy Gunn?
Oh, yeah. I love Billy Gunn.
Oh, my God.
Road Dogg, Billy Gunn.
Little story, I was trying to take the picture of, the schedule so that we could put it on social media and everything, and somebody just puts their hand in front of my camera. I'm like, what the fuck? And I turned, and it's Billy Gunn. He goes, "Oh, geez, a little jumpy, huh?" "Oh, shit, Billy. Oh, hey, man, I'm just joking around." And he's like, "It's all right." And then later on, he talked to me. He's like, "Here, let me be in the Piper video." And he's an awesome guy.
Good.
I could have got throttled pretty bad.
No, but that's what I like to hear for the most part from all the guys that I've met. I mean, my guy's stone cold.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's just
Hell
Austin,
yeah.
dude. I mean,
Yeah, you met him, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
I met him, The Rock,
Yeah.
You know, I'm buddies with Jericho. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get him on here.
Jericho's going to be in Vegas in a couple weeks when I'm there for Double or Nothing. That's the first AEW pay-per-view. So that Jericho will be there. He's wrestling Kenny Omega. Now,
So who did they get over? Did that so the Jericho's over there? Like
Jericho
who did
went.
So did they? Are they throwing,
Darren, if there's anything
Are
that
they
you would
throwing-
appreciate,
Yeah.
it's this whole entire AEW. It's one guy that believes in himself,
Yes.
Cody Rhodes, and he put his money up for
Is
it.
that Dustin Rhodes?
That's
Goldust brother.
His brother.
Goldust brother,
Dusty Rhodes' son.
Dusty
Yeah.
Rhodes' son.
Yeah.
So the Runnels family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And-
I know. I'm
Yeah, and
friends
he-
with Goldust.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
And he put his money up with this group called the Young Bucks. It's Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson.
Tag team, yeah.
And they funded this pay-per-view all on their own because one guy said on his podcast that there's no way they can sell out a 10,000 seat arena.
Exactly.
Guess what they did in 10 minutes?
Sold
it out.
It
Dude,
out.
but you would tell, like,
It's
see,
everything
I would,
that you
when-
believe in.
See,
Yeah.
here's the thing, Bam Bam. The thing that I would say to you is the minute somebody said something like that, I would not know. And I say is that, and you would go, they'll sell it out in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe an hour. Whatever. But like, it just made sense. The industry. So that got them to this investor.
Yep, and
Yeah.
they got with this con, and he put his money forward, and they held a press conference at the Jaguar Stadium, and Cody
Yeah.
came out,
There
who
you go.
can't use the last name Rhodes because WWE
own it.
owns it, so
So-
he's Cody.
Right.
And the Young Bucks, and they got this Kenny Omega, who is in Japan. He is the Hulk Hogan over there.
Dude, he's the one. He's
He-
the best in the world.
Yes,
I mean, he's
period.
incredible.
Like
best wrestler?
yeah,
Yeah.
WWE
Like, who
would
would
have
you-
paid through the roof.
who
He's
would
Shawn
you-
Michaels and Bret Hart and everything combined. He does it all.
Yeah.
He puts it on the line.
Ariel, Mike.
He's
Wait,
got
say-
the look. He's got the
Can you
blonde
speak
hair.
English?
Yep. Oh yeah.
He's from Canada. He's Canadian.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
from.
we got to get to know this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, so
And-
the Canadian connection is Jericho then.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
Dude, this
and
kid-
Kenny are they're from
No,
the
that's
same.
what I mean. They're from Calgary probably, and they probably come out of the
Is it Calgary? Yeah, I
heart
think it's Calgary.
system. Yeah, trust me. Okay.
The Hard Dungeon.
he's from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But,
And so he's got the look. He's
but that's
everything.
where Jericho's from.
Yeah,
Yep. And WWE.
they're wrestling each other.
Yep.
in Vegas.
And they would have paid through the butt to get him.
What do
Yeah.
they? What do you think they're? What do you think that? This
They would have
kid-
given him a Brock Lesnar deal.
What
he's-
are they
he's-
What are they getting from AEW? What's the incentive? Are they getting ownership?
Yeah, Kenny is. Yeah.
And you get the pay-per-view buys, and it's starting low to begin high. So these independent wrestlers are your.
Give me. Are you excited?
I'm super pumped because
yeah.
it's competition for the best in the world. So these guys are your AHL players. You know,
But they
they're your
want it.
minor league guys.
So
that
it's like ECW back-
They've traveled like Dominic from
Yeah.
city to city on their own dime,
Japan
driving
and back, like all
to
over the
wrestle
world.
in front of 50 fans, 100 fans.
It's like Abdul the Butcher.
It's like Ring
like
of Honor.
ECW
Yep.
back in the day, wire matches.
You'll
would
love this
appreciate
announcement.
These dudes so much.
They just made this announcement.
Well, that's you know what I'd like to say as grind time, and I'll try to get a hold of Jericho and stuff like that. But
Oh,
any
yeah,
way that
yeah.
we can help promote
The
if
AEW.
this is the thing, because if it's like these guys that want to work for it, it's almost
Well,
like it's almost like UFC. In WWE, you know, like let's not get it twisted. It's scripted. It's whatever.
Oh.
But these guys are phenomenal athletes.
Oh, and they put their body on the line.
Oh, God, and the
bumps
stuff that
bruises
they can
get,
do.
Yeah.
And they just signed with TNT. They're going to be
That's
on cable.
Remember
And-
WCW was on TNT.
Yep.
That's what AEW's
Turner
TV
got
show.
right back into it.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the whole thing too is that WWE's gone to Fox, right?
Yes, and so that's the thing.
SmackDown
So
did.
SmackDown is
Yeah.
on Tuesdays currently. It's going to go to Friday. They'll put their wrestling on Tuesday, so you already got your audience there.
Yeah, you're getting customer base. Yeah.
And so it's unbelievable.
Everybody's
they
rooting
have
for 'em.
that much faith in themselves, and they're doing it from the independent scene. This is like AHL players starting their own
Yeah.
league and going
Yeah.
up
So
against
what?
the NHL.
So they got Jericho.
Yeah.
They
Anybody
got
else?
Kenny Omega. They
Kenny
got Cody.
Omega.
They got these young bucks. They're Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty times 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You got to see Kenny wrestle.
I'm gonna go home and
They're getting
I'm
this
gonna
guy-
go home and
Kenny versus Okada.
I see-
Yes, Okada and the
he's
rumor
got a guy
is
up in the.
they're gonna get this guy called. Is going by John Moxley now. His name was Dean Ambrose in the WWE.
Dude, they got Ambrose?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh.
It's not official, but that is what the rumor is. And if they can get
Dude,
him,
Ambrose is sick, dude, because
Yeah.
Ambrose is sort of that loose cannon, like
Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
exactly.
and it's and like Dominic is saying, they got a big thing coming, and these dudes grind, man. I mean, it is crazy
Well,
that they put up their
The
own
WWE
money.
guys want out of their contracts. They want to leave.
Yep.
Right, because well, Vince runs that thing as a dictatorship.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he knows what he's doing.
a monopoly.
And
Hey,
it's life.
one of the best businessmen.
It's his life.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it has been, and dude, it's a product, but it's competition's good, and you know what? It
Exactly.
could. Here's the thing too, is that might be leaning more towards XFL and sort of allowing, because if you don't see pushback as much, it's got to be something that you might see. There's got to be Vince is too smart to
One
not
fade,
to see the
another
writing
start.
on the wall where he needs that.
You only run your fastest when somebody's chasing you. You know, he hasn't had any competition.
But here's the thing: is that
Dominated the industry.
I think from what I've seen in Vince McMahon's history, is that he's like a Scotty Bowman. If I'm relating to the coach, he's a few steps ahead. So
He's a Mike Ilitch, is what he
right.
is.
He's had some conversations with Khan as far as getting that to be able to capitalize both, because to see if this XFL takes off the ground.
And and I've heard interviews where Vince tells these wrestlers, "I hope it happens. I hope it gives us competition." Advises
Well, it
them.
makes you better.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
and
does.
hoping that and what it does, it only gets
That's
more
how-
eyes on wrestling in general.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Which is what I grew up with, and you know what? I'm gonna tie it up this episode on that note. But further episodes I'll go into how important wrestling for me over like different spans, because it's sort of like Billy's, like he said about She. Billy Tucci was just on talking about his comic book of She, where that space has gone in between. That's the best thing about wrestling, is that it's like a soap opera, so you can stay like I am right now. I'm on the outsides, want to hear it from you guys to dive back in, but I've gone through the Hulkster, the Tito Santana, the British Bulldog age, into the Stone Cold, The Rock, there's times, but I remember how influential it was in junior, to the fact that when I played in junior, we had a skate in the morning that we were watching, and the wrestling used to be on till but they run over a minute, right? And had to see the end match, and it was whatever that we were late to go on the ice, and our coach was Larry Mavity. He came in.
That's in there.
He ripped the TV out of the freaking stall and wouldn't let us have the TV anymore. And because back in the day, right, we had our line was Jake Grimes, so he was Jake the Snake, and then me and Craig Fraser were Axe and Smash Demolition. So, and we had signs in the crowd and stuff. So that'll be for another episode and stuff. So Bam Bam, good job today. Perry, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you last night to our good friend Cindy Berry and her husband Jeff and her friend Liz.
I didn't think she wanted to be associated with us yet.
Well, just saying, we had a nice time with them.
No, we
last night.
did.
That's what I was
we
just
got
thanking
a lot
her
of
for.
big
Yes.
plans on the fiction aspect of other things going on. Obviously, yes, thank you for dinner and great other avenues. There's another person you'll be hearing from more of. Friday, Sandusky. Anybody up there? I know Travis will see you up there, brother. I'll try to make sure that no one steals your tickets.
Yeah, sorry, Trav, I can't. Trav has messaged me. We're hoping to meet, but
Travis, he's antisocial. He doesn't, he doesn't appreciate your friendship like I do.
5 steps behind Mac.
Exactly. Dom, what do you got this weekend? You'll be there all weekend. Where do people find you if they want to know about the Ravager and the Slavenger, and go pick up a Burnaby Blazer jersey, because they're gonna win eventually.
Motor City Comic Con this weekend, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to be in Artist Alley. N13, like Nightcrawler 13. Check us out. We are going to have Burnaby Blazers jerseys for sale, signed by Darren Mccarty, as well as Prince, signed by Darren McCarty. We're going to have Lynchburg Moonshiners jerseys, the Arcane Awakening, Brian O'Halloran's team, the Hell's Kitchen Heathens, as well as some Donnybrook stuff. Come check us out. N13 Motor City Comic Con this Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Nicely done. Dude, that was like that.
I was ready to go.
Hey, dude, that was
Be
almost
there,
like,
be there.
That was like
almost
the motocross.
Yeah, that's like,
Dude, that had a little striker in it.
That's it.
You'll,
Yeah, I mean,
you'll buy the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
anything to add, buddy?
No, that's good, man. That was a great show.
I was,
Yeah, and thank you to my guest Brian O'Halloran. Obviously, check him out. The new movie, the new Jay and Silent Bob revising the role of Dante. You know, it'd be great to. It's awesome that other people from other genres that have the same interest and love of the hockey. Obviously, Billy Tucci, who's now our Metropolitan update
Correspondent.
And the thing is, we're gonna have to talk to him and get him to open up a little bit on how he really feels.
and Billy responded, thank you, Mac, Dominic, Mess Bucket,
Riggio.
Yeah, you think I...
You think you should
all
get
that,
it? You
yeah.
got vowels. Come on.
And everyone, what an honor. No, Billy, it was our honor to have you on.
Thank you, Billy.
All right. All right, fellas, we got a lot of things brewing here with Grind Time. Check us out. Instagram's Grind Time Podcast, grindtimepodcast.com, Grind Time DMAC25 on Twitter. Obviously, Grind Time Podcast or wherever you're watching right now. You know how to get it. I appreciate, love all you guys. And remember, life's tough, but every time you fall down, you got to make sure you get back up. That's it for this Wednesday. Grind Time. Out.